1-1 after three test matches. India and England go on to Oval now to play the fourth test match. Let's talk about it here at Time Out with Sports Adda. Hello, Arun.
It's the Oval, Akhil. It's the Oval. Can't wait for it.
Can't wait, and thankfully, not too many days between the test matches also, so our wait has not been too long. But beautiful, right? We spoke about it a little bit in our last show. Beautifully balanced after three test matches series at 1-1. This is a beauty of five test match series also, isn't it?
It is. Speak to Indian fans and they'll say we were better off being 2-1 or 3-0. Speak to English cricket fans and they'll say we were better off being either 2-1 or, they'll probably be happy to take this 1-all stalemate as it stands. But yeah, five test series, nothing better than a five test series. Gives you a chance to come back, gives either team, a chance to come back. I'm a little surprised, I have to admit, because I thought, given all the bio bubble, the pandemic, the effects of staying in confined hotels and all of it, I thought the team that takes the lead early on will run away. But credit to England for fighting back.
Absolutely. I agree with you. Even that mindset I had that after the defeat that they had in the second test, it would be difficult for them to come back, but real hats off to them. Hats off to Joe Root also for, I mean, whatever said and done. He's been one guy who's stayed strong through it, isn't it? He scored runs when they lost. He scored the runs when they won the match. And what everything seemed to have just worked out for him. So yeah, you're right. Hats off to him for such a comeback. Uh, you think India will now come back strongly as well? They'll be fired up now with Virat also wanting to come back in the series.
My fear, as much as I want India to fight back and come back strongly, there's just a small fear in one corner of my mind that this could be a draw. The oval surface is the most batting friendly surface in England, and I
Mhm.
just sense this could end out being a draw.
Interesting. I mean, last two, three tours, if I remember, Arun, you're right. I mean, whenever India has played at the Oval, I think results have been either we've lost the game or we've drawn the games, right? Traditionally, but they've been a little scoring wise, they've been a little high scoring matches. We managed to get Indian batsmen have managed to get some runs there. So it'll be interesting. You're right. I mean, if you want to just have a look at the stats where we show that how India has performed at the Oval, we'll get a clear idea of. Last time, I think when we had went there, two Indian batsmen had got runs. If I remember correctly, Anil Kumble's only century in Test match cricket has also come at the Oval. So it's been a ground
and
favorable for us.
and that's the century, which actually makes him an all-rounder in his own words, because he scored that test 100. He's an all-rounder. He can claim to be an all-rounder. But fun and games apart, there are a couple of numbers I want to read out to you. One is India has won only one test match at the Oval ever. Despite it being traditionally sprint friendly, blah blah blah,
Yeah.
we won only one test match. So yeah, I mean, which is why I said, look at the number of draws there. Seven draws for India. So I don't know. I just have this feeling it could be a draw. A second
Hmm.
set of number I'll throw at you. It's an
Hmm.
interesting pattern, Akhil, with India's test matches at the Oval. There's a very interesting pattern. Uh, Between 1936 and 59, right? Pardon me, there's Alexa just giving me some kind of a reminder in the background. But yeah, look at this. Between 36 and 59, not a single win.
Hmm.
Between 60 and 2007, not a single defeat. 2008 onwards, we've lost all the three test matches we've played. So
Hmm.
there's an interesting pattern there. Not that it's a trend, but it's
Hmm.
just that it's one of those quirky things. But having said looked at all this, I think this will again be a draw. Again, it's just me, just sense that this could be a draw.
You're right. I mean, the numbers are saying that so it seems like something where it will head towards a draw. But here the points are at stake, isn't it, for the England or England team also? They will want to make as much points as possible from this series because it's a long series. They are on the momentum now, so it will hugely depend on what they also tell the groundsman in terms of wickets. They've got one quick bowler coming back also, an important guy coming back into the team, Chris Wokes. So I'm sure they will want the result out of this and not let it petter out into a draw.
Suddenly look at the England team and they've got Chris Wokes coming back and
Hmm.
Mark Woods available as well. So, while I mean England are missing Josh Butler, not that it will make a huge impact on their batting, but Josh Butler's will his absence will be felt. Who do they bring in? We don't know. Ollie Pope's available. I think Crawley's available. So England have selection decisions to make. Both teams have selection decisions to make. I think one where two decisions for England will be Chris Wokes coming in for Sam Curran. You think that's going to happen? That's a likely one.
I think that will happen, even though I think Sam Curran with his left arm angle gives a different edge to them. At least even if it's but 8 overs, 9 overs that he gives to them was a little different than what their typical right arm medium pacers will give. But I really like Vokes Arun. I mean, I think he's a top quality guy. If you remember, he scored 100 against us on the last tour, and he was
I don't want to
always
remember.
Yeah, and he was always on the off stump, just taking the ball away. He's a strong guy. I think he can bowl a lot of overs at a go. I think he's a captain's delight. Only thing is that it'll be then all right arm attack for them, which I don't know if as a captain they will want.
If right armers are getting you so many wickets, you shouldn't be thinking about having a left
Good
armer just
point.
for the sake of it.
Good point.
Now, I've always believed, get the guys who can do the job. Doesn't matter right hand, left hand, bowl with both hands, no problem. Get the
Good
guys who
point.
can do the
That's a
job.
good point. Yeah, so works for Curran definitely. It will just, I mean, the bowling wise, the pressure will just go up for Indian batsmen even more.
Yes, they will. But I'm curious to know what England are thinking about Anderson. Will he play? Won't he play? I mean, there's talk about workload. I mean, all that. I mean, fast bowler, yes. Aging fast bowler, yes. But champion, and he's got an extra day off. So why won't he play? And my theory is, when you're nearing the fag end of your career, it's always a bit of a confusion. Would you prefer being rested and managed, or would you just play that one or two additional test matches to just keep you match fit?
I think he'll definitely play Arun, and I mean I think what they will do is they manage his workload because after this there is a long gap before he plays the next Test match. So he has enough time to recuperate. A lot of white ball cricket coming up, which he doesn't play, so he can be in the broadcast room, give his opinions as a commentator, and like put his feet up. He'll definitely play. And I was thinking about one stat that you had given last time to us, one of the previous shows where he picks up important wickets in the first innings but has struggled to pick up wickets in the second innings. So I'm thinking if Oval is going to be a batting friendly wicket, all Anderson has to do is give you 3 or 4 important wickets in the first innings, and that gives your team a brilliant chance to go win.
8 overs, Akhil, wasn't it? 8 overs in the first innings, picked up those three
Just six
wickets, and that
runs.
was it. Yeah.
Correct. So one spell like
And
that,
if he's
and
if he's got the likes of Vokes coming back, Vokes can just keep running in. If he's 100% fit, Vokes or Wood, Mark Wood, doesn't matter. Either of both of them can be your workhorses. Keep running in, banging the ball in, over after over. So that's. I mean, while I'm confused, I want Anderson to play. I don't see any reason why England will want. They shouldn't rest him.
agreed on that. Totally agreed on that. Speaking of Anderson, Arun, I want to take your thoughts, and we can go on and on about this because we both like watching spinners bowl. Uh, Indian camp will also have their share of troubles, and we'll talk about the bowling first before we get on to the batting. Jadeja had some injury concerns. He posted a photo from a hospital, etc. So, will they get the great spinner back into the game now? Is it time?
Great spinner equals R. Ashwin. Is that right?
Absolutely. I think he's already a great in terms of Indian cricket. The figures that he has, if I mean, we need to respect him a lot more. Forget where he's got those wickets. For me, he's outstanding. Look at these numbers. I don't think he has to prove anything. He's a great in my opinion, whether Manjrekar likes it or not.
No, absolutely right. I mean, look, how do you judge greatness? Not just by 5 wicket hauls. That's my argument with Sanjay, right?
Good point.
You judge a player if he's great or not depending on what he's done on the field. It might not every ball translates to wickets, Akhil. That's the important thing, right?
Yeah.
If cricket was that easy, all bowlers would end up picking up 10 fours, right, or 20 fours in a match. It's not about 5 fours or 10 fours or just a number of wickets. Yes, it's a parameter, yes, but Ashwin's done well. He's reinvented himself after, like those numbers, told us. He's reinvented himself after a certain point, and that itself is claim to greatness, like Anil Kumble did. For years, he couldn't pick up wickets overseas. We kept complaining about it, and right at the fag end of his career, that Australia tour, I remember, he was fabulous, bowling slower through the air. Got his googlies right, brilliant too. Likewise with Ashwin. Ashwin will keep reinventing himself, and he's got a good game awareness. He knows what to do when. The complaint I've had against Ashwin in the past is that he experiments too much, but he's cut down on that. He's become smarter, cricket smarter. It's not, off break now. If I don't get a wicket or if batsman doesn't play a fall shot, I'll bowl a googly or a leg spinner. No, that doesn't happen. He'll work on a batsman. He's developed that, and that's greatness for you.
Agreed, agreed. I mean, he's too good a bowler. Unfortunate that he's had to miss out just for the team composition. So he'll be really itching to get back and show. I think he'll really want to have a go at Joe Root, knowing how competitive he is, how he thinks. I think he must have already had two or three different plans to go after Joe Root very early on when he gets on to bowl. Uh, and that is a contest. Again, I want to see that contest as much as I want to see an Anderson bowl to Virat Kohli and Rohit Sharma. This is a contest where I want to see Joe Root getting challenged by another champion bowler. So just for that sake, I hope Ashwin gets to go.
No, Ashwin will play. Will definitely play. I mean, no matter if you don't play Ashwin at the Oval, you're not playing him anywhere else in England. Oval's the only surface that will guarantee spinners some purchase. But Ashwin v Root, the contest you really want to watch. Also because, like we spoke about Ashwin being, evolving, Joe Root's evolved as well. I
Yeah.
watched him play in Sri Lanka. The way he played spin in that series, the way he's played spin in this series has been good. Right?
Yeah.
You don't score 500 or 600 in a year if you can't play spin. Played spin in Sri Lanka, played spin in India, played spin now in England. So his games become better against spin, and that's a contest I really want to watch.
And Oval will help the spinners, isn't it, compared to the other cricket grounds in England? This is one ground, if you remember, Shane Warne has done brilliantly around here. Even Muralitharan has bowled very well here. So, I mean, yeah, these are very, very interesting numbers you've picked up since 2016. As you go on, these numbers will indicate why a top class spinner is necessary. Third and fourth innings,
Top
so
class spinner is
definitely.
necessary, but also look at those numbers, Akhil. Look at you've got to be used right. The first innings, the role of a spinner is to hold.
Yeah,
Right? Don't let the opposition run away with runs, right? It's the second innings where they've traditionally come good. Look at the strike rates and the average.
yeah.
It's almost half of what's happened in the first innings, right? So if you're picking up a wicket every 13, 14 overs in the first innings, it comes down to about 6, 7 overs. Drastic change, and that just tells you how important spinners are as the game goes on.
Yeah, and I'm very surprisingly, these overs also, Arun, in the second innings indicate that the game has gone on long in the second innings also. Third innings, especially, the spinners bowling 136 overs shows that unlike other English tracks where somebody like Moeen Ali comes and does a holding role until the new ball, this is what he did in the Lord's Test match or in the third Test match also. This will be a different one. Even Moeen Ali might just fancy his chances here considering how he's bowled last two test matches, isn't it?
I absolutely right, Akhil. One other thing I just picked up just as you were speaking, looking at the last couple of test matches, right?
Hmm.
2018 against India and 2019 the Ashes test. Guess what? The third innings of the match was the highest scoring innings of the test match. So, the India test, England scored 423 for 8, which is the highest score of the test match. Ashes 2019, England scored 329. Again, the highest score of the Test match. So you're right. The third innings is when runs are easy to come, and that's when you need Ashwin.
Okay, fantastic. Any other interesting stats that you have about the Oval, about Indian batsmen? I know we discussed a little bit about the runs scored. If my memory
Before you
serves,
get there, before you get to the batsman, the one other player I actually fancy might make the 11 is Hanuma Vihari. He's been a quiet passenger, Akhil. He's been a silent traveler, not been. Nobody's really spoken about him. But this is
hmm,
where he made his test debut, had a good debut. And
hmm.
why not him? Why not Vihari if Jadeja is not available? I mean, considering that Jadeja might be injured, why not Vihari as the additional all rounder?
Yeah, that's a. I mean, he made his debut and then he opened the innings also, if I remember correctly, in England, one of the innings. So he's already had some experience. He's gone and played county cricket, but Virat Kohli, I think, has made it very clear he wants to play five bowlers. So the only thing maybe a Hanuma Vihari might get a chance is if they decide to replace somebody like Ajinkya or a Pujara uh, with an extra batsman. I don't think otherwise Hanuma Vihari is going to get a go at six, unless they really think
So,
that the
so
wicket
you
is
don't
a
think
three-day test.
leave Ishant out and get Ashwin, leave Jadeja out. I mean, leave Jadeja out and considering he's injured, get Vihari in. You don't think that that's a possibility?
I don't. I mean, I agree with that. It's a good possibility because somewhere, the batting numbers at 4 and 5 have not been very encouraging. So for them to have an extra batsman just to bat along and know that they don't have to throw their wickets or score quickly, which is what they have also been facing. That if wickets are falling, Rishabh Pant has not been able to stay at the wicket for a long time. So the mindset is that you have to quickly then score runs because you never know the tail might get blown away. So I personally think an extra batsman might just give cushion to them to forge together some partnerships. But Virat Kohli, in his all bravado, has very rightly said that that is the approach. And fair enough to him, he's the captain. He thinks that five bowlers is a thing that he wants. So I think they'll play probably Shardul if they don't back Ishant again.
Good. Another good alternative. I think Shardul's a much improved player as well, so another good alternative. Last one I want to talk about is you go into the Oval where a couple of players will have good fond memories of scoring runs there, of having played there in the past, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean that was one good thing about the 2018 series. Rishabh Pant started his run scoring at the Oval. He got his first Test 100, if I remember correctly, and so did KL Rahul. In the 10th inning of the Test series, Rahul managed to get a brilliant 149. So these are interesting names here. Huh? Rahul Dravid is featuring twice. Uh, the first one was an epic draw, if I remember, Arun, and the second one is where we went down 4-0. So Dravid has already shown the big wave. There is also the Indian current coach there in that list.
Yeah, the one thing that struck me while I was looking at these numbers, look at the number of Karnataka players there. There's KL Rahul, Rahul Dravid, Anil Kumble, Rahul Dravid again. You can count Ravi as being a part of Karnataka because of his Mangalore connect. But yeah, I mean that's a list. That's some list there. Uh, Rishabh Pant and KL Rahul will want to believe they can score runs again. Rishabh's had a dreadful series so far, and Rahul played that one poor shot in the last Test match. I hope both of them can just come back and say, "This is the venue where we've done well. Let's get among the runs again."
True, very true. I think both of them, I think Rishabh Pant will be itching to get an impact innings under his belt. He's done that successfully last two series, the test series that India has played. So he'll be just waiting to have a flat deck and just get some runs under his belt. There was one more point which I wanted to take your thoughts on, because India don't play too many five test series. Anyway, there are very few five test series around. I had a thing where if India play the fifth test, uh, I thought their batsmen, especially and the bowlers, get tired till we go on to the fifth test. So I remember the last test at the Oval also 2018 when we played there. This was the last test of the series. So mentally, I think most of the guys were done with because the series was over. They were just playing for pride, like they say. But mentally, I think it's a good challenge that the test has now moved from being fifth to fourth. If the batting conditions help the batsman, I think this will be a much better place to play the fourth test rather than the fifth test.
Well, I mean, you shouldn't be really complaining, Akhil. I mean, that's the way I feel. As international cricketers, I know we're all humans. There are chances that your morale will go down on day. You wake up and say, "What am I doing here?" But these are international cricketers. They're the best in the country, so they shouldn't be thinking that way. Every day they wake up, they should say, "I'm going to give my 100%. I'm going to do my best. Enjoy." I mean, it's international cricket. Like with everything else in life, you win or lose, you succeed or fail. Same with sport. Which is why, if you see, I don't get too critical of players. I get critical, but not overly critical of players. It's a game, it's a sport. You win some, you lose some.
Agreed.
And they're in London now. They shouldn't be complaining.
Yeah, you're getting to play cricket, which you love. So, I mean, they shouldn't be complaining, definitely. Well, we are not complaining. We are here to talk cricket and we love talking cricket. If there are any opinions, anything that you want to discuss, please do write into us. We are happy to have a chat and include that in our conversations. We will try to get a few more interesting names to come and talk to us also and like talk more about cricket. So, as usual, brilliant talking to you, Arun. We'll stay tuned and we'll come back with more talk before the next test match and during the series also. Thanks for listening to us at Time Out with Sports Sector.